Today we're going to look at rent-to-own model. So we've received a lot of inquiries from you inquiring about whether we have rent-to-own projects, and we've begun a mini-series. So our goal is to educate you as much as possible about rent-to-own, how they work. Do we have any rent-to-own products in the market? There's one that we're launching very soon, so stay tuned. We'll give you more information about that. So yeah, to get started, we'll start by defining what a rent-to-own is. And typically this is a form of ownership whereby a tenant has an option to purchase a property that they are renting at some point in the future. So within the Kenyan context, if you're to commit to such type of a development, what would happen is you would begin by obviously identifying the development, visiting the site, and if you like it, then contractual paperwork would begin from that point. So what we've seen typically is, as with any development, you'll be required to put in a deposit. But then even before we get to that, so one of the main goals that a developer would sort of aim to achieve with the rent-to-own model is to make it affordable for especially first-time buyers, so that they're able to, their entry towards property ownership is easier, it's flexible, and yeah, so that, I mean, we can collectively achieve the affordable housing agenda. So yeah, when we look at deposit, you'd be typically required to pay anywhere between 20 to 30%. However, the beauty about this is with a rent-to-own model, and again, it varies from project to project, but just to give you an example, the process would start by, you may be required to pay a booking fee. This could be, for example, 1% or whichever percentage. And then what would happen is, if the project requires you to pay a 30% deposit, once you've paid the booking fee, the balance of that can be covered within a 24-month period, which typically is the time taken for projects to be completed. So again, this means that you'd be signing up on an off-plan development. And obviously that whole process of due diligence, especially if you're working with us, we'll be able to take you through, give you a history of the developer, see what projects they've done, just so that you're comfortable. So that's the first part. So let's, in this case, for example, let's assume you've paid a deposit of 5%. The balance of 25% would be stretched out within that 24-month period. Then once the project is complete, you'd move in, and then you'd be required to be making your payments on a monthly basis, the same way you'd be paying rent. So in this case, and subject to the agreement that you sign, your payments, your monthly payments may be stretched all the way up to 10, 15, or 20 years. It would vary again from project to project. So once you start making your monthly payments, it usually entails two components. So there's an element of principal, which basically goes into building up your ownership of the unit, what we call it equity. And then there's going to be an interest component to it. So again, interest rates usually vary, but then when you are paying your monthly repayments, it's all bundled up. So both the principal and the interest, you pay that on a monthly basis for X number of years based on what you had signed up for. So that's it for the introduction part. I'm sure most of you have a couple of questions, and if you do so, please leave them in the comment section below. We'll be continuing with this series, so stay tuned for more.